Good morning, family. It's SpannFlower here. Today is Sunday, October the 8th, and thank you for taking some time with me this morning. Firstly, on Sundays, I normally do the Sports Talk Sunday program where I go over football games and give my predictions and analysis of the games from the prior week. But this week, we will not be doing that until later on today because of the events that happened over the course of this weekend. And so we really need to talk about those events because they're very important. They're geopolitical events. And as a historian, I do have to document these things. And as your trusty information guide, I have to make sure that I'm reporting these things to the channel. So normally I would enforce a no negativity Sunday, but of course I have to report on things as they happen. And so my apologies for not keeping with that clause today, but we do have to report on these events. So let's get started. Now, firstly, and I'm gonna put my glasses on for this because I research the work and then I write it out. But sometimes it's a lot of information and I don't remember everything. So I want to make sure that I'm reading it off correctly to you all and that you get the general synopsis of what's going on. So here we go. All right, put my glasses on. All right. So firstly, around 6:30 a.m. our time on October the 7th, which was yesterday, Israel was attacked. It was a sneak attack, and they're saying the militants from Gaza are taking uh, credit for the attack, is what's happening. So let me just read a little bit. Uh, the militants from Gaza entered Israel by sea, land, and air. Now, that is a huge deal because Israel has one of the most sophisticated intelligence agencies on the face of this earth. So how that was able to happen, I'm not I I don't know. And so they're still trying to figure that out. But it had to be some extensive planning going on. Not only does Israel have intelligence, but the United States has intelligence and other allies that are in, not, I wouldn't say allies, but other countries that are in the Middle East. They have military and intelligence capabilities as well. So, that's a huge deal. Now, let's just say it's been reported that hundreds of Palestinians and Israelis and some Americans, they don't know the total amount yet, have been killed. Uh, I'm not exactly sure what's happening with that. It's 40 years to the date since something like this happened before in the country, and now while they're celebrating and rejoicing, then they get the sneak attack put upon them. And there's a lot of other political things that's going on over there in the Middle East that, we need to follow because Israel is one of the United States' biggest allies in that region. And so the president of the United States, who is Joe Biden, has given his full-throated support of Israel, even though at some times their relationship been a little icy over his administration. But again, they are, the United States has pledged their support and that they're behind Israel and whatever they need to do. Now, the president of Israel, his name is Benjamin Netanyahu, he has said, and let me read this exactly what he said. He said that his country has been attacked, that they will destroy the perpetrators of the massive sneak attack. He proclaimed Israel is at war and commits to bombing in Gaza area. I mean, like bombing all over the place. And it's being reported all over the news agencies and elsewhere. I want to make sure that my viewers have it here as well. So that's something that we need to keep an eye on because this doesn't look like this is going to end anytime soon. Then they're saying the implications that Iran is involved, and the United States has said they don't have any proof that Iran is involved. So it's just a lot of political wrangling going on with the situation. And it ain't pretty. It's not good. And we want to offer up our prayers and all of that for those people that are affected by the situation and what's going on over there because it's bad. Anytime there's war and death is bad. And the earth with all this bombing, and we need to breathe. And we need to say our prayers for that country that they can resolve these issues quickly and with as least deaths as possible. So we'll see. Not to mention that the war in Ukraine, which is involving another United States ally, and that's Ukraine. Now, the United States has been pouring billions of dollars into the conflict between Russia and Ukraine in support of Ukraine. Now, this has been going on for months. Thousands of lives have been lost. I mean, what's happening here? And now they're hassling over how much money to give Ukraine, or if we're going to offer any more support to them, and all of that. And so all these other countries are looking, like China, that has their eyes on Taiwan, like all these other countries that are testing. I feel testing the United States is because they feel like the country's not going to do anything, or I don't know what the situation is while they're testing, but they definitely are. So we have to be vigilant and keep our eyes on all of this because this is very, very, very important. So two of our closest allies in certain in regions that are not always friendly to the United States are having conflict, and we are supposed to back them up as the world's leading superpower. So we'll see how that works out. Now, the next thing, secondly, I want to talk about the Biden administration finally trying to address the southern border. Okay, now that Democratic mayors are coming out and starting to complain. Now, my thought on this is how the United States can acknowledge Ukrainian borders or Israeli borders and not worry about the massive influx of migrants at our southern border, like thousands, you know, just pouring over the border. And like millions have come across the border to the point to now where you have governors of New York, Eric Adams, and J.B. Pritzker of Illinois on the Sunday talk show saying, "Hey, look, we need to fix this," And Eric Adams is now sounding the alarm. I mean, what did the U.S. think was going to happen if you open up the border to millions of people and tell them to come on in? For whatever reason, you felt that that was a good idea to do that. I don't know. And I'm all for people coming to immigrate into the country as long as they're doing it legally. But again, I talked about this on Wednesday of last week. If you have millions of people coming into the cities, well, actually, they're coming through the southern borders, and the southern governors are sending them to places where they deem sanctuary cities, like New York, like Chicago, like Washington D.C., and elsewhere. So now these cities are overwhelmed with all of these people, and they can't afford to house them or feed them or clothe them or give them medical attention because it's taking away monies from the actual citizens and taxpayers of those regions. And this is a huge problem. Now, the mayor of New York, Eric Adams, said that he has spent billions of dollars since this whole situation happened, and they're seeing like 800 migrants a week at its peak now coming into the city. And so they're upset with the southern border governors, but what can they do? Like Texas and Arizona, all these places where it's the poorest area for the border to come through, for the migrants to come through the border, what are they supposed to do? They can't, if you can't afford to take care of these in the most world-class cities in the country or around the world, then these other states that are not as wealthy as some of these big city states, big cities cannot afford it either. So I live in Illinois, and of course, our governor J.B. Pritzker was on the Sunday talk shows saying that. Let me just say what he said. He suggested on the morning talk show that the president should have an office that handles immigrants exclusively. That he's not against immigration, he's just against them sending a lot of immigrants here. So again, what is that? Clueless. I mean, like, if you bring in millions of people and you have to take care of them and house them and whatever. Now, in traditional times, asylum seekers, refugees, things like that, that will be it. That's understandable. And then there's a process for that. But when you give people work visas and tell them to come on over and it's just open, I mean, like, what do you think they're going to do, especially if they're coming from countries that are not stable? So again, this is a monster of our own making, and we need to fix this because, as I said it before, I am in the city of Chicago, and people are livid because there is just it's not a good look. So we need to really, really pay attention to that. Now, They did say that Venezuela, that the Biden administration had spoke with Venezuelans and that they were going to start letting those persons come back to send those persons back to their home country. I'm like, what? You got to ask people to take their people back. What is this? I mean, like, what, what is happening here? Really? I don't get it. I mean, like we don't have a border. We don't have a but we are spending billions of dollars to defend someone else's border, and then when it comes to our border, we're like, maybe we should, maybe we should. I mean, like, what does that doesn't make sense to me. So the next thing that needs to happen in the country quickly is that the House of Representatives needs to find a new Speaker of the House. This is absolute ridiculousness at the highest level. Before you ousted Kevin McCarthy, you probably should have had somebody in place or a consensus of what you want to do, Republicans, because you felt McCarthy, did you think the Democrats was really going to help you? You're an opposing team. I mean, like, it's so chaotic. It's so messed up. Now, Congress, the House of Representatives, controls the purse strings of the country. They allocate for do appropriate. I mean, they do everything as far as our monies are concerned. So if they're not functioning right, how is the country functioning right? Because you have to have a functioning government, the presidency, the House of Representatives, the Senate, the judiciary. All of that stuff has to be. The three branches of government need to work properly in order for this country to be able to stay stable. And I'm concerned about what's happening because I don't see the stability there. I don't even feel that stability in my own city where I live because of all the things that's going on here. And we're going to start talking more about that because, we need to make some changes and we need to really start studying who we are electing in office and who are they working on behalf of because we're going out the door backwards here and people are really feeling it in their pocketbooks, in their monies that they have to take care of their kids with, to get back and forth to work. I mean, like people live on budgets, and then now you have all these people that may need government assistance getting their food stamps cut or getting their medical benefits cut or being more stringent towards the taxpayers to try to cover the amounts that they have to spend for the people that are non-citizens. So there, it's just a lot of things going on, and we're gonna have to really dive into that because these are make or break policies that could really hurt our group of people and or groups of people, not just black people, but just people in general that are citizens that pay taxes. This is a very big deal. Now, lastly, now also wait. First of all, the Speaker of the House candidates are Jim Jordan and of Ohio, as I said before, and Steve Scalise of Louisiana. So they're gonna try to get this vote together next week because you have to have a Speaker of the House in the event that there needs to be some emergency funding for these additional wars that's going on. And like, this is a big deal, very big deal. Now, lastly, I have a question for you all. They haven't. I mean, because people not big on the military at this time. I mean, some states are big, but some, for the most part, people want to be peaceful and not non-warring and all of that. But look, I'm concerned about all of the things that's going on, and I have two questions. Is the United States being protected? And are our intelligence agencies ready? Because that attack that happened in Israel, that is a very, very, very intelligence heavy country. And so for them to plan something like this on them, we want to make sure that the United States is prepared because we do have enemies. We do have people that don't care about the United States, okay? So we want to make sure that we okay. And my last point I wanted to make is, are we getting ready to put in a draft? Because look at all the stuff that's going on. If China decides, hey, look, I'm gonna roll over here on Taiwan because hey, ain't nobody stopping me from doing it. We are we have given our word to protect or help these countries. And we have to delve into how these things came about. But I'm just giving a general synopsis as a historian. They are saying that they're going to help these countries. But what kind of help are you going to give them? Are you going to put boots on the ground? I mean, like, it's so much involved in this. And I'm very worried. So I'm just wondering, are people Are they trying to institute the draft? I mean, like, are people really going to sign up and go into the military if they know there's going to be conflict? I mean, like, what? How does that work? So these are things that are very important and conversations that we really need to have. And I know there are a lot of local issues that are going on here in the city of Chicago, but these national issues, these federal issues are so big, and the administration just looks like their hands are so full. And I'm worried if we're going to get the right amount of, I, I don't know if we got the right support or the right people in place to handle this situation. So this next election is going to be crucial, and these next few months are going to be crucial because all these wars going on, they could escalate and bring in other people and other people and other people and destabilize places that we need to be stable. It's just a lot that can happen with this, so we need to report on it. So if you have questions or comments about anything or want to express your point of view, if I didn't go over something, okay, and of course, we will on a more local level next week be talking about the strike that's still going on with the UAW members. And so even when I'm driving down Torrance, when I'm driving down Avenue O, you can see them outside, and they outside all night long picketing on these lines. This is a huge, huge, huge deal. So we have so many issues that we need to cover. And I need to start covering these issues because they're happening in our lifetime. I want to make sure I get that information out to you all. So again, if you like this channel, comment, subscribe, share, like. And if you have questions or you have things that you want me to look up that's applicable, post a comment to the channel and I'll be sure to respond. Okay, so this is all I have for right now. And my apologies for being away from the channel for a couple of days because, I have a lot of stuff going on and I like to stay with my sports stuff. But I mean, like, look, it's too much stuff going on and need to report on it. So, you know, hey, all right, you all have a blessed and wonderful day today. I mean, try to stay as positive as you can amidst these various situations that's going on. And we just need to say a prayer for our country, and hopefully we can try to exhibit the leadership that we need to get the world right. So, all right, you all have a blessed day. Until later, bye bye.